Hello, this is Erin with the Joy in Pens and Paper, and I'm going to do 6 swatches for you today. All 6 of them are from a pen meetup that I did with Zen of the Pen and Fountain Pen Insanity, and these are samples from Fountain Pen Insanity, so thank you so much. I did have, there are some other samples that I will do a part 2. And one of them just had a little bit of leaking. That's perfectly fine. But if anyone wants to take a guess at what the ink was that is left on my fingers, feel free. This is one of the inks I'm going to swatch today. But I love having inky fingers. My last week, if you did not see it, feel free to go check it out. There's a little bit of the, I think, one of the inks that I washed off right there. That's fine. Last week I did a swatch of 2 different megalodons from Birmingham Pen Company. Here are the dried samples. It's just fascinating because for my eye, I'm still seeing a difference between this swatch and this swatch, and I'm seeing a difference between the writing. This is leaning a little bit more green. This is, I want to say, a little bit more kind of a grayish color. And then I did these 2 swatches just kind of to see almost in real time how they dried down. They look very similar, and they also look similar to the swatch that Birmingham Pen Company sent me. I did have a viewer on that video comment that theirs was more brown. So it's just interesting. It's interesting. Ink is fascinating. And I believe I responded to that comment that, you know, while it's different than what I expected, I still love both of these. They're not very different, but more so what I love is Birmingham Pen Company inks are very well behaved. And I know that people in other countries can't access them, and I'm so sorry. I would be happy to share samples. They're very good inks, and I'm appreciative that I have access to them. So without further ado, let's get to swatching. I don't necessarily know. I'm looking at the names of these. I don't know the colors. I did not pre-swatch because I wanted to be surprised. So there is one of them that is a much brighter color. I think I'll save that for the end. And I will just get started. So the first one, oh, and these little glass samples with the label is already on. And so what was really great is the one that had a little leaking, I was able to just run it under the sink and didn't have to worry about losing the label. So again, Fountain Pen Insanity, thank you so much. Love these. I was gifted, you know, just about, or maybe 4.5 mils. So that's enough to ink up a few pens and really get to know this ink. Let's see, does my Kakimori nib fit? Not so much, but I can do this little swirl. And I am perfectly fine with that. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so much like this page, I'll do it a little bit different, but I'm going to do a swatch, I'm going to do the writing, and I might do some line variations off to the side, and I just might need to move that out of the way. Okay, just making sure spacing will work. Well, that's a good start right away. It's beautiful. If you do hear any background noise, this is a snow day in Massachusetts, which is where I live. It has been snowing at least since 6:30 this morning when I woke up, and it's beautiful, big snowflakes. We probably have, I'm looking, maybe 3 inches on the ground. We were projected to get 1 to 2. And so my husband is outside with a snowblower, just cleaning off the driveway. And this one, I don't know if I said it, is called Summer Sweet. So it's coming off the kakimori nib really nicely, which I very much appreciate. And then I'm just going to do some line widths. If you don't know, a kakimori brass nib dip pen is really nice for getting a variety of line widths, as the angle in which you hold it against the paper is going to change how much ink goes down on the paper. Okay, so that's Summer Sweet. Really pretty. Again, I love this bottle. All right, the next one that is just next door to it is Birmingham Hall of Fame Riviera. Again, I have no clue what colors these are. I did not look them up. Oh, and this is a very full sample. This is over 5 mils. It's right up there to almost to the top. I don't know if you can really necessarily see that. Can this fit? And it does not fit in my Inkapet. Just gonna check that because, you know, worst case scenario, brain was activated. So this is a darker and more blue. I think in kind of a general color family as Summer Sweet, but definitely darker and more blue. Hall of Fame Riviera. Now, I believe for Birmingham Pen Company, a lot of their ink names are a reference to something local in their area. And so I'd be interested in finding out what the reference is for Hall of Fame Riviera. Many of my viewers are really good at giving me information, so if you know that, feel free to share, because the chances that I will actually remember to look that up after I finish filming are pretty slim, because I will go right into reading articles for my dissertation while I go through the process of some editing, exporting, and uploading this video. Okay, so, I will add this to the next one. So there's actually going to be 5 because I wanted to do this one with just Birmingham. Okay, so Birmingham Waterfront Dusk. I have seen this swatched by other people, and I was thinking it was kind of a mauve-y purple, and looking at the edge of this very full sample, I believe that is accurate. I might add that sample back in at the end just because I said 6 and I don't want to be a fibber. Oh yeah, that's pretty. That's very pretty. Waterfront Dusk. I don't believe the plows have come by to clear off our street, but with a car that's moderately good in the snow, I think it would be fine to drive as long as there's some caution. My vehicle does have all-wheel drive, so I don't really have too much of a worry driving in inclement weather. I actually used to work a job that despite the weather, I was required to report to work and did have to drive in a lot of inclement weather. So, all right, so here is, oh, my eyes were not paying attention. There were a couple, that's another Diatramentis, that I think I looked at the D and thought B and didn't look closer, so apologies. I will swatch both of those. Okay, so this is the last of the Birmingham Pen Company, and this is Blossomed Lotus. And I will use my Inkapet for this. Now I'm going to go with, this is a bright, I was going to say orange, it's actually a peach. Wow, that's pretty. I'd be interested to see this ink next to Sunset Blush, which I think is a little pinker than this one. I find myself doing that very frequently. When I swatch a new ink, I start immediately thinking of other inks that are similar. It's a very light ink. And I just rinsed it in a mason jar that hasn't been rinsed with any other, and I was thinking that there might be a bit of a highlighter color coming out because I have used a number of Birmingham Pen Company inks that have that highlighter yellow or yellow green base to it. This one did not. It does, for me, seem very similar to Sunset Blush. I wonder if I can quickly find it. Before that, I got Sunset Blush in August. Oh, right here. Sunset Blush. So it's very similar. This is a little bit more saturated. And I was thinking it was more pink. How would I describe it? I want to say there is the tiniest hint of brown. And as I'm looking, I'm seeing right here, there's a little bit of what to me looks like a brown haloing. But I think in general, the base colors, minus that little bit of brown, is very similar. Oh, interesting. Okay. Snuck in that little bit of a comparison. Okay. So I will do those two Diatramentis inks. Let me just make sure I don't see another. Nope. Just checking to make sure I don't see another Diatramentis ink. But I did just notice one of the inks that I received is also an ink that Zen of the Pen gave me previously. I will still swatch it again, but it's interesting that I was gifted it twice. All right. Ooh, lovely. Make sure I don't write Birmingham Pen Company. Fountain Pen Insanity is a big fan of green inks and purple. And then Zen of the Pen is really a fan of any of the really saturated, very gem tone, sheen, shimmer, real fun inks. I do feel like the outlier in our gatherings where I am much more of the muted, subdued, earthy, muddy colors, but that is the fun of this hobby. And I do think people change their interests and preferences over time. And quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if in a year from now I'm sitting here with all the deep, saturated, bold colors, because that's just how it goes. All right, so this is Diatramentus Ludwig van Beethoven. Ooh. This is very close, I think, to Robert Oster Frankly Walnut, I think. It's very lubricated, similar to Frankly Walnut. Oh, that's a long ink name. Well, I'm just going to have to improvise with my line whip. Just like that. Okay. So this is, oh, there's a little spillage. This is part one of my ink swatches from a get-together with Fountain Pen Insanity. So again, thank you so much. I love this. I'm very happy to have these samples in my collection, and I look forward to using them. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the time that you spent with me today, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.